The 5 greatest boxers of the last 100 years introduction. For more than a century, boxing has produced champions, icons, and legends. Some were feared, some were loved, some changed sport itself. But greatness in boxing is not measured only by titles or knockouts. It is measured by impact, longevity, courage, and the price paid inside and outside the ring. Over the last 100 years, thousands of fighters have competed at the highest level, yet only a handful truly reshaped the sport and left a permanent mark on history. This is the story of the 5 greatest boxers of the last century. Their triumphs, their struggles, and their lives beyond the spotlight. 1. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali was not just a boxer, he was a global phenomenon, born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. In 1942, Ali rose to fame in an era defined by political tension, civil rights struggles, and social transformation. From the beginning, he was different. He spoke with confidence, poetry, and defiance. He predicted his victories, he mocked his opponents, and he backed it all up inside the ring. Ali became world heavyweight champion for the first time in 1964, defeating Sonny Liston in one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. What followed was a career unlike any other. He won the world heavyweight title 3 separate times, a feat once considered impossible. His fights against Joe Frazier and George Foreman became cultural events watched across the world. The Rumble in the Jungle and the Thriller in Manila are still regarded as 2 of the most important fights ever staged. Ali's style was revolutionary. He moved like a lightweight, fought with his hands low, relied on speed and intelligence, and introduced psychological warfare as a weapon. He changed how heavyweight boxing was fought. Outside the ring, Ali's life was equally powerful. He refused military service during the Vietnam War, sacrificing years of his career. He paid a heavy professional price, but became a symbol of conviction and moral courage. Later in life, Ali lived with Parkinson's disease, a condition linked by many experts to repeated head trauma. He remained a figure of dignity and inspiration until his final years. He passed away in 2016 due to complications related to respiratory and neurological illness. Muhammad Ali did not just dominate boxing, he transcended it. 2. Sugar Ray Robinson, the perfect fighter. If greatness were measured purely by skill, many historians would place Sugar Ray Robinson at the very top. Active primarily between the 1940s and 1960s, Robinson compiled a record that remains almost mythical, over 170 wins, with victories across multiple weight classes. Robinson held the world welterweight and middleweight titles multiple times, but numbers alone do not explain his legacy. His footwork, timing, combinations, and ring intelligence became the blueprint for modern boxing technique. So influential was Robinson that generations later, fighters were still described as the best since Sugar Ray Robinson. He fought frequently, sometimes multiple times in a single month, in an era without modern medical protection. He faced elite competition consistently and rarely avoided danger. Outside the ring, Robinson lived a glamorous but difficult life. Fame, money, and pressure took their toll. Financial struggles followed retirement, a fate common among fighters of his era. In his later years, Robinson suffered from health issues related to age and neurological decline. He passed away in 1989 due to natural medical complications. Sugar Ray Robinson represents boxing in its purest form. Technical brilliance, relentless competition, and timeless excellence. 3. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Joe Louis was more than a champion, he was a symbol. Becoming world heavyweight champion in 1937, Louis held the title for nearly 12 years, the longest reign in heavyweight history. During that time, he defended the championship 25 times, a record that still stands. Known as the Brown Bomber, Louis fought with calm precision and devastating power. His rematch victory over Max Schmeling carried enormous political significance during a time of global conflict, making him a unifying figure in American society. Despite his success, Louis' life after boxing was deeply troubled. Poor financial management, heavy taxation, and lack of post-career support left him struggling. He worked various jobs simply to survive. In later years, his health deteriorated. Joe Louis passed away in 1981 after suffering cardiac complications. His story is a reminder that greatness in the ring does not always protect fighters from hardship beyond it. 4. Mike Tyson. Raw power and chaos. Mike Tyson was the most terrifying boxer of his generation. Turning professional at just 18, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at 20 years old. His explosive style, relentless aggression, and knockout power made him a global sensation. At his peak, Tyson unified the heavyweight division, holding the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously. Many of his fights ended within the first round, but Tyson's life outside the ring was turbulent. Fame arrived too quickly. Personal struggles, legal issues, and financial problems followed. His career became a story of extremes, unmatched dominance, followed by dramatic decline. Unlike many legends, Tyson lived long enough to reflect publicly on his mistakes. In later years, he reinvented himself as a commentator and speaker, openly discussing mental health, discipline, and redemption. Mike Tyson remains alive today, a living reminder of how fragile greatness can be when discipline collapses. 5. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Perfection and control. Floyd Mayweather Jr. represents the modern era of boxing excellence. Undefeated in his professional career, Mayweather retired with a perfect record and world titles in 5 different weight divisions. His defensive mastery, precision, and ring intelligence redefined how elite boxing could be approached. Mayweather rarely took unnecessary punishment. He studied opponents meticulously and neutralized their strengths. While critics argued his style was cautious, supporters recognized it as the highest form of strategic boxing. Outside the ring, Mayweather became one of the highest-earning athletes in history. He understood business, promotion, and self-branding in ways few fighters before him ever had. Unlike many champions, Mayweather exited boxing with his health largely intact and his finances secure. He remains alive, active in business, and influential in shaping the future of the sport. Conclusion: what greatness really means. These 5 men fought in different eras, under different rules, and with different styles. Some relied on speed, some on power, some on intelligence, some on will. Some left the world too soon. Some are still here to tell their stories. Together, they represent the highest peaks and deepest costs of boxing. Greatness in boxing is never free. It is earned with sacrifice, pain, and risk. And the legacy of these fighters will echo as long as fists meet under the lights. So, do you agree, or do you think someone is missing from this list? Leave in the comments who you think should be included and why, and I'll talk about your comments in the next video. Send this to your friend who's a fan of any of these legends to get their opinion.